Hello again, beautiful sacred feminines. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about grief and just kind of extend my compassion and empathy and caring and love and heartfelt energy to any of you who are going through grief regarding the loss of a partnership, a romantic relationship, a marriage. I know that is going around quite a bit in the collective right now, as some of us, our consciousness is rising more and more. We're finding we're not quite the same frequency match to the person that we were partnered with previously. So relationships are ending. There's some really powerful energies happening in the cosmos, in the astrology, on our planet, and within us. So we're kind of rapidly accelerating, and some things are dropping by the wayside, and that includes some relationships that just are not supporting us in the way that we want to be supported or need to be supported. I personally have just ended a marriage that I thought was it. I thought was the thing. I thought that's, of course, you don't commit to marriage unless you think it's going to be the thing, right? That's going to be your person for the rest of your life. At least that's, that was the plan. So, that marriage ended. It's only been a couple of months now, so I'm just, going through all of the emotions, and, they say I have my master's in thanatology, which is the study of death, dying, and bereavement. And we looked at a lot of different grief and loss and ways that people work through their grief and deal with loss. And this is not just death-related loss, but non-death related loss, which I'm especially interested in. And this is one of those non-death related losses. But we learned a lot of different theories of bereavement and grief, and Elizabeth Kubler-Ross had these 5 stages of dying, and then they kind of moved that over to these 5 stages of grief. And there's like a controversy about that. It's not like we move through these stages 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and then we're done. It's an ongoing cycle and a cyclical, not linear process, and we revisit some of these stages. But I'm noticing that I am kind of visiting these stages and moving from one to the other. And initially it was just like acceptance and and then it was let's see, what are the stages? There's shock, anger, denial, shock, denial, anger, bargaining, and that can be just bargaining with ourselves, and then acceptance. So I was not necessarily in shock so much, but just definitely went through a lot of anger, really angry that situation didn't work out, angry to lose all those dreams, anger towards my partner for not being who I needed him to be, not living up to my expectations, and anger at myself for even having expectations and for needing something more, and just a lot of anger at the masculine, and my own wounded feminine was triggered, so I got to really work with a lot of that. So grief really stirs things up for us, which is why I got so passionate about it. Loss, there's so much growth potential in loss, and that is, like, they call it post-traumatic growth syndrome. What happens when we lose something, that whether that be a death or non-death loss, there's great potential for growth there. If we work with it that way, we can also go the other way and just get bitter and resentful and angry and shut down our hearts, for sure. But there's also potential to really blossom and open up and spiritually connect and evolve. That's why I got so passionate about it, because nothing transforms like death and loss, just nothing. And that's part of our human experience. So the more we can embrace it and work with it, the more we can evolve and really get into our power and connect to our hearts, because ultimately we don't lose anything. Nothing dies, right? So, but I just have really been going through my process, and given that grief is my thing and this unconscious grief of the wounded feminine is what I'm all about, I wanted to get on here and talk about it, because I've not really shared much about my process, and that's part of it. Like grief, we don't get to decide how it's going to look and what it's going to be like. I don't get to wake up and go, oh, I'm going to process my grief today and it's going to look like this and then I'm going to feel better. No, the grief has its own journey and its own cycle and its own energy and its own thing that it needs to do, and I just need to kind of allow it to move through and try to not resist, and allow the emotions, allow the feelings, allow the anger. You know, we're so good at like shoving that down. Oh, I can't be angry. That's not right. That's not healthy. Anger is really healthy. And it's been amazing for me to really get in touch with this anger and to let it fly and to not shame myself or shun myself. Oh, I shouldn't be angry. I shouldn't be feeling like that. I should be a good little girl and just like be, you know, proper and love and light. And no, not at all. Anger is a really important part of our process, and it's because of all of our shunning and shaming of the anger, the repression, that we have so many issues and we have so many emotional challenges and we have a hard time expressing ourselves, and we repress ourselves because we don't allow the energies to move through. We don't allow those emotions to move through. We shove the grief away. We don't, you know, honor it and allow for it to move through. And we try to put on a timeline, you know, like I shouldn't be still grieving at this point. You know, people do that to themselves, and it's just, grief is, it's a process, and it's an ongoing process, and I imagine I'll be grieving this for a very long time. And you know, there's some of it I just absolutely can't make sense of in my mind and in my heart. You know, my heart is like, what the hell, what was that, you know? But I'm also seeing the beauty of it. I mean, there's so much, and that's the thing with grief, and that's the thing with loss. There's no just like cookie cutter answer. There's no just like, you're gonna figure it out. Oh, here's the answer, and now it's all good. No, it's complicated, it's complex, it's layered, it's nuanced, it's all the things. And we really have to allow for that process. And so I'm finally getting on here, I think, and really talking about it a little bit more. And hoping that my talking about it helps you in your process, because it's not just, you know, maybe it's not just a romantic relationship, but there's a lot of things we've lost over the past few years. And there's a lot that we've lost as feminine, as women, you know, lost connection to our sexuality, connection to our healthy connection to our bodies, you know, healthy connection to our power, to our intuition, to all of the feminine energies that are not supported in this society, in this patriarchal society. I mean, I think some people are starting to come online now. Well, I know that, but I'm also seeing some really disturbing, upsetting things around the feminine energy that are just, feels like we're regressing. Like, what in the hell is going on? So there's a real battle between the light and dark going on right now, and which, as I say that, I'm like, that I'm not, it all comes together. We are light and dark. We are made of light and dark. And I guess that's the problem, or an issue, a challenge, is integrating all of those parts of ourselves and not just going one way or the other. We can't be too much love and light, and we can't go into darkness too much, because that's when the imbalance happens. We need to bring it all together, and which is what I'm working with this grief thing too, you know, and the anger. Like, yeah, own it. Bring it in. And for me to look at, I've also been reflecting a lot on my relationship and all the ways that I wasn't conscious, and all the things that I brought that weren't healthy, and all my own codependency and my patterns and my wounded feminine and my, you know, issues that weren't really my proudest moments, you know, like, but that's what relationship is about. It's our mirror. It's a reflection. It's helping us to see where we need to work on ourselves. You know, the other person is there to show us, like when we're triggered and such like that. There's where I need to do some work, you know. So that's what that relationship was for me. It triggered all sorts of stuff and really brought it up to the surface. But it also, and that's what it was. You know, we went into it in a very conscious way. It was about our evolution and spiritual growth. That's why we got together, to work on our, you know, that was a huge piece of it for me. Like, if I'm going to get into a relationship, that's what it's got to be about: transformation, empowerment, growth, spiritual, you know, evolution. How are we going to support each other to be in our best selves and to be in our power? And we did that, and we moved through a lot, and then we got to a point where it was just like, I don't think this is working. I don't think we want the same things. Initially we thought maybe we did, but turns out after a while, and you can't know that until you go through the process, right? In the beginning, it sounds like it, and you're like, yeah, this is the thing, and let's do this. And then as we get going, some years down the road, it's like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe actually I don't want that, or maybe I don't want it as much as I thought, or maybe I don't want it as much as I thought to put in the work, to get there. Maybe we do want different things, and that's great. It was a lot of growth at the time, and beautiful intentions were there, and a lot of support for the growth, and that's great. So, and that's what also kind of makes it challenging, because there was a lot of beautiful things that happened in that relationship and a lot of support there. And so like letting go of that and just kind of like trusting the universe, trusting that everything happens the way it's supposed to, and knowing that other beautiful things are coming, and just not to get too ahead of myself, but just staying in the process, of course. But I know how the universe works, and I have total confidence in it, and I know that all happened for a reason, and exactly the way it happened, and it was just what it was. So I just want to say that I see you if you're going through all of this, and I get it, and I know it's complicated, and just try to do what you can to allow the emotions to move through. Do a lot of grounding, connect with the earth, get into water, even into a shower, just to wash the stuff over you, wash the energies away. Work with stones and crystals, really high vibe frequencies. Help bring grounded ones. Rose quartz is beautiful for divine self-love. Labradorite is excellent for transforming energies, maybe negative energies, anger and such, into wisdom. What is the wisdom virtue of these harder emotions? There's a lot of wisdom in anger. It helps us to set boundaries. It helps us to know when something's wrong. It helps us to know when, like, no, I need to stop this. This isn't healthy for me. It's when we get lost in these emotions and we start spinning in them that it's a problem. So if you're spinning in them, we need to look at that. Because emotions are healthy and natural and a part of our lives, and we need to allow them to move through. But when we get stuck in them, and that really happens when we're repressing things and not allowing it to move through. If we don't, then it's easy to get stuck. So if you need help with this, just please reach out and let me know. Like, comment, subscribe below, share your experience. I'd love to hear it. Know that I offer energy healing sessions to really support the clearing of these energies, when they get stuck, they turn into toxic emotions, and then that's when we can start repeating the patterns. If you've been repeating some of these patterns through various relationships, that's where the energy healing comes in to really help to clear this. This is like inherited. A lot of these patterns are inherited. We learned them. They're learned behavior. They came from our ancestors, from our family members, and energy healing and ancestor healing, really powerful to clear those energies, and we need to work with it at that energetic level. So know that I'm here to support you in that process. If that's something you want to move forward on, just something to keep in mind, because it's really powerful. Also, community connection with other women is really important when you're going through grief, and that's what I am super passionate about. I offer a variety of community events every month. There's a new moon and there's a full moon. I'm going to be adding a grief circle. These are all healing circles with sound meditations and sound healing and connection with other women, to really step into our power and to own our emotions and to work through them and talk about them and have a safe, sacred space to share about these, and just be held and seen and supported. We really need to be seen as we're moving through this kind of grief. So what I say, and there's a land healing ritual also, ancestor healing, which is huge to clear this energy that we've inherited. That's just like epic. I'm all about it. So yeah, those are all healing circles. So when you're ready to help move this energy and get some support around whatever you're working through, whatever kind of grief you're working through, maybe it's a job, maybe it's a career, maybe it's maybe you've moved, maybe just big transitions. We're going through some major stuff right now and we need some support. So check it out. Get onto my website, look in the events page, and get on my email list, and you'll get notified of when all these events are happening. So, oh, and they're by donation. They're all by donation, these events, because I really want to support us into moving out of these energies and not being stuck in them, and really support our healing process and our transition, our transformation. So, yeah, just it's to support me on my pilgrimage. It's a win-win. So, yeah, check that out. So no excuses. You just come on in, but registration is required. So check out my website for that. And yeah, let me know how I can support you. And I'm so passionate about helping us all to just be in our power and be in those love energies. And that doesn't mean we don't go through hard times. That doesn't mean we don't go through this loss. It all arises together. It's to really feel the love and those higher vibe frequencies, we got to go through the other frequencies too, because it all comes together. We can't bypass any of it. If we bypass the grief, we bypass the joy, because they're opposite ends of a spectrum. We can't just skip around one. So there's a lot of spiritual bypassing, like love and light. I'm just going to stay positive all the time. It doesn't work that way. It only really represses us, and really it's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's a disconnection from the truth of our experience. We're human beings. We have all the feelings. We have all the experiences. We don't get to pick and choose. I mean, we can, but it's gonna shut down our hearts, and we're gonna get disconnected. We need to be whole, integrated, bring it all into balance and union and harmony. There's no balance really, but we're always kind of like trying to stay in alignment, stay in our core, stay in our truth, stay in our heart. So all of this is geared towards supporting us to do that, and really working with each other is where it's at. That's so powerful. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this a little shorter. I can really talk. I love it. So, which reminds me, in these healing circles, it's not about me just talking. It's you get to talk and share, and other women are going to be there to support you. They're going to talk to you. It's not just me like knowing everything and telling you this and that. That's just not my jam. I think we all bring such beautiful wisdom. We all have such gorgeous energies to share with each other, and all I'm doing is just creating a space for us to do that. So you'll get to connect with other people. You'll get to share your experience, and really be held and seen, and just, nurtured and cared for. So I look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, turn on the little notification bell, and get on my email list, get onto some events, and check out the one-on-one healing sessions, and we can really get into this and clear some stuff. So I look forward to more connection. Bye.